Today we're talking about Python event handling in Bouncing Pigs. We're going to use the tutorial Bouncing Pigs in order to discuss Python event handling. This will be the next step in coding by including random coordinates. We've used absolute coordinates, which is where we use the numbers like -134, 64, 82. And we've used relative coordinates like tilde 2, tilde 0, tilde 1. But now we're going to use random coordinates in the Bouncing Pig tutorial. And it's also a good time to start talking about event handling in Python code. What makes computer programs useful and interesting and fun to use? When a computer program can respond, when it can react to data, to mouse input, to other actions outside of itself, that's what makes it powerful and interesting. Think if you went into a video game and walked around, but you couldn't break anything, you couldn't battle anything, you couldn't get anything. You just walked around your video game, but you could never do anything. That's no good. So what makes your game interesting is that you can actually respond. You can actually be part of the world you're in. That's what makes computer programs interesting and powerful. An event is an action outside of the coding that is recognized and responded to inside the code. So like in Flower Trail, when you walked, something happened. You see the code we wrote on player walk or on player fall, on player swim in lava, on player bounce. Something happens in the code. The code waits for something to happen outside. Did the player climb? Did the player fly? The code is going, I'm listening, did it happen, did it happen? And then when it happens, the code does something. In Bouncing Pigs, there are two event handlers that are created. Event handlers are the code that is responding to the event. On blocks are event handlers. One of the event handlers you're going to make is going to fill an area with slime. On chat command slime. On blocks are the event handlers. It's saying on chat command, so on the event that you say slime. So I'm waiting, did you say slime? Did you say slime? And when that happens, then do these things that I have coded for you to do. In the tutorial, it says add an event. Note that in the directions it tells us to add this event, which will start the code. On chat command slime, fill with slime, from these coordinates to those coordinates. This is an event handler. We choose which event to make the code aware of. On player, and what do we choose? In Bouncing Pigs, we choose bounce. Then we choose what code will respond to or handle the event. In this case, we spawn a pig. Outside the code, the event occurs. The player bounces. The code listens. It hears the event, and it handles it by running the code. What does this look like on the Python side? Remember, we said that on blocks are the event handlers. Outside the code, someone typed slime, and that was the event. Then the code executed and filled an area with slime blocks. So what does this look like? Well, on chat, player on chat, slime. Def on chat, blocks fill slime block. Now, what we see is that there's the word on chat slime, and in Python we say player on chat. The on is part of the Python code, just like it is in the on blocks. And we see there are these two defined functions. So essentially, player on chat slime, then go call the on chat function. Player on traveled bounce, then call the traveled bounce function. I'm sitting around all the time and I'm saying, ooh, player, did you travel? Did you bounce? Call the traveled bounce function. Ooh, player, did you chat? Did you say slime? Then, call the slime block function. Okay, so this is, or well, definitely the on chat function that fills with blocks. I should be more specific. But this is basically what programs do. They sit around and they wait for you to do the right thing so they can run their code. This is what event handlers are. And this is just where I highlighted it. And instead of describing it, I should have highlighted it. Okay, there are 11 different event handlers in Minecraft MakeCode. 11. And they each have options. On animal killed is one of them. On player died. On arrow shot, which I thought was interesting. You could say Robin Hood would be proud on arrow shot. Or on player teleported, say, where am I? On tell command. You know what a tell command is? That's where you talk to each other. Jump, say up, up, and away. On a block placed, on a block broken. On start, we're familiar with that. On player bounce, we're familiar with that. On chat command, we're familiar with that. And on an item used. On start command is a unique event handler. The thing that runs the on start command is the run button, and it executes immediately. So you'll notice in the Python code, it looks a little different. For instance, on player chat chaos, what is going on, has its own defined function. On player chat chaos has a defined function. On player teleported has its own defined function. On player arrow shot has a defined function. But on start does not define a function because it is executed immediately when you push the play button. When you have the on start button, it immediately plays, sets the difficulty to hard. Let me see if I can go back. Okay, see the on start on the upper left-hand corner, on start, set difficulty to hard. Now let's look and see what the code looks like. It just immediately sets the difficulty to hard as soon as you push the start button. To summarize, computer code is more interesting and powerful when it responds to its environment. Event handlers respond to events outside of the code. Block codes with on respond to events. The on start block runs immediately and does not create a defined function. Your assignment. Complete the Bouncing Pig tutorial. Share the link to your code with your teacher. That's me. Look at the choice board on the next page. Choose 3 event handlers with a positive, neutral, and negative consequence, and make code for each. Use the camera, book, and quill and record each of the 3 event handlers in action. Share that with your teacher. Test your code in a Minecraft world and battle out the crazy consequences with some of your classmates. Now, this may be the last page. This just shows you where the Bouncing Pig tutorial is. So you can see the Chicken Rain tutorial. You just go down, down, down to mobs, and Bouncing Pigs is over there. Now this is going to take you more than one day, most likely, but I want you to have plenty to do since I'm not going to be here today. And this is your choice board to choose which event handlers you're going to use. 3 options for positive, 3 options for neutral, and 3 options for negative event handlers to choose. So for example, you could pick that you would on item use to be your positive event. So for example, you could customize that to be any item you wanted it to be. And you could choose for your neutral item to be on player walk. You could be your negative item to be on an animal killed. You would choose one from each column to be a positive, a neutral, and a negative thing to do. A positive result might be, for example, to say, congratulations in the chat, or you could give a good item to someone, or you could kill all the enemies. A neutral result might be a negative message in chat saying, excuse me, not a negative, a neutral message in chat. Might just be a message in chat neutrally saying, oh, look, you did what you did. There it goes. Or you could spawn a harmless animal like a pig or a cow. Or you could play a simple sound like I don't know, a moo or some neutral sound. A negative result might be a message in chat calling you dastardly, but don't be too rotten. You could spawn an enemy or two, like a ghast or something, or you could play a scary growl. And that's the end of the show. So again, this is not due all today, but you should have plenty to keep you busy. I will not be in class today. And that is the end of the show.